Hello everyone, this is 200,000 Units, and today I have a custom showcase of my vintage collection ARC Trooper Commander. In this video I'll talk a little bit about the inspiration for this figure, how I made him, and just generally showing him off. So in terms of inspiration, originally I just thought this would be a cool way to riff off the ARC ranking structure we see anyway in the Clone Wars Micro Series, with Fordo being a captain and being in red, and the blue ARC troopers being assumed to be lieutenants. So continuing that and working up the ranking structure, I made this guy a commander and so painted him in yellow. Now it does turn out that after I made this figure, I then found out that ARC Trooper commanders do exist in Legends, specifically in the Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures comics, in which we see one or two of these guys in yellow as commanders. So I think that's really cool. It's nice to see that this figure does actually have a basis in the lore. So then, this figure is just a simple repaint of VC 213 ARC Trooper Captain, because as I said, he's supposed to follow the same rank structure as the existing ARC Troopers, and so therefore have the same paint job. So to do that, I first of all stripped off all the red paint on the figure using acetone. This was a fairly easy process. I mainly just did it around the outlines so that I didn't have to make sure my paint was perfectly aligned with the original. The only area I had a bit of trouble with was the pauldron, because it's actually painted white rather than grey, and then the grey paint is an addition. So when I was stripping, I was kind of shocked to see white paint appear underneath rather than just leave me with a grey base to which to paint over. Then paint the yellow was fairly simple. I masked off the lines on his arms and helmet, which is quick, and then just a couple of coats of Citadel's Uriel yellow to get this lovely bright yellow colour. And in terms of the camera, because it's removable at the back, I won't demonstrate with this figure just because it's still a bit fragile, being a custom and all. So once I'd removed the camera, which made it easier to paint his knee pads, I then taped over it with just standard masking tape, and then painted over that and varnished that, and that worked really well in my opinion. Camera's got a lot of movement, not restricted at all, but the paint holds well on there. It's not had much sort of cracking or crumbling. It is slightly messy around the back just because I had to use several layers of tape. So if I was doing it again, I'd try to minimize the amount of tape I was using, just to combat that. No weathering on this figure. Again, just to be consistent with the other commandos out there. But the nice vibrant yellow helps on that front. Articulation is standard for this figure, and I'll cover VC 212 and 213, the Walmart exclusive ARC Troopers, in greater detail in later videos. Again, in terms of the weapons front, just the standard DC-17 is, I believe, the correct name for these blaster pistols like Fordo uses that we got in the ARC Troopers. Though part of my original inspiration was a yellow ARC Trooper that Hasbro released beforehand, and he came with the Westar blaster rifle, so maybe I'd like to give him one of them, but I haven't really got any spare. They're being used on my VC 212s, unfortunately, or fortunately, because that weapon really does improve this ARC Trooper sculpt, in my opinion. Here is my ARC Trooper Commander next to Captain Fordo. I think they make a really nice pair when put together. Both got a bright animated paint scheme. The only real difference is that Fordo's camera is of course dyed rather than painted on, so it's a little bit darker than the quite bright yellow that's on my Commander. Honestly, I think I prefer the brighter look to the camera. I like how it looks rather than the slightly more muted tones of Fordo that seem a bit out of character with the rest of the bright red in the scheme. So overall, this was a Really quick and easy custom to do. One that I definitely recommend for a beginner. Just a simple repaint, but it's got great shelf presence because of that lovely bright yellow. So that's all I've got for you today. So thank you for watching and goodbye.